Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley Aireonna with the 227th pick of the NFL draft. The 49ers selected not no offensive lineman, but they did end up selecting a guard eventually and signed one to, undrafted. But let's begin by talking about 7th round quarterback Kurtis Rourke. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. 7th round quarterback. When's the last time the 49ers drafted one of those? How'd he turn out? Pretty good. Little bit about Kurtis. He's a big, tall guy. He's 6'4", 220 pounds. He threw for 300 passing yards and had a 74% completion rate. So that's very good. 29 touchdowns, only 5 picks. PFF said he had 19 big time worthy throws and 10 turnover worthy plays within all his plays. That's a really good percentage for this guy, and doesn't get rattled by pressure in the pocket, steps up to throw, good anticipation and touch, confident processor, weak arm. This is a quarterback that Kyle Shanahan would love. Weak arm, can execute the system, not at all flashy, not doing anything, not a great runner, not doing anything impressive, just executing the system as it's supposed to be. But not only does he have a weak arm, but he played all last year with an ACL injury and a broken finger. So he won't even be able to be cleared. Kyle spoke after this round about 15 minutes ago. It wrapped up. And he won't even be cleared for another 7 months. So they're not anticipating him on, coming into camp and competing with Tanner Mordecai or Mac Jones or anything. I think that it was a little high for them to draft a quarterback. If they wanted to draft a quarterback that was going to make an impact on the team, Shedeur Sanders was there all the way up until the 5th round. They reached in the fifth round, so maybe they could have gotten him and gotten one of the guys that they drafted in the 5th round in the 7th round where they were supposed to be drafted. The NFL has like a big board where they project all the players to go, and the 49ers are consistently the highest on reaching in the NFL, meaning they go and get guys way before they're expected to be drafted. Now, it can go either way. If you end up hitting on a guy who the rest of the NFL was down on, it's like, hey, good for you. You went out, instead of listening to what everyone else was saying, you trusted your scouts, you trusted your coaches, you guys came up with your own consensus big board, and you stayed true to that. And so you look really smart when you hit. But when you don't hit, you look pretty stupid because it's like, okay, well, every other NFL team was way more down on this guy than you guys were. Anyways, Kurtis Rourke, though, like I said, aside from the injury history, I guess he's not bad. The 49ers have typically carried 4 quarterbacks in the building under Kyle Shanahan. So every year that Kyle has been the head coach, they've had 4 quarterbacks going into camp. Usually only 3 end up making the roster. One's on the practice squad. So right now they have Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, Tanner Mordecai, and then Kurtis Rourke. Like I said, only expect 3 of these guys to make the 53-man roster, and with Rourke coming off that ACL and finger injury, I imagine he'll be more of a practice squad QB. But at one point, Brock Purdy was a practice squad QB. Like I said, Kyle addressed the broken finger and ACL. Shockingly, Kyle said that was actually a plus for him, the fact that he played so well last year, and then they found out he was playing with that injury. They were very impressed by him. Now, Logan Brown was a guard that was on the board when they drafted Kurtis. And so my issue with this pick isn't that he's a bad 7th round quarterback. Like, I think that's a fine place to get a backup quarterback. My issue was, where is the O-line? I'm glad that you guys fixed the run defense, or, seemingly, hopefully fix the run defense. You guys really hit that hard. But to me, the second biggest weakness, if not biggest weakness, was that O-line. So I just couldn't figure out why taking a camp arm, a guy who's, going to throw in camp, because that's all he's going to be right now. Trying to upgrade your QB3 position when there's other positions of bigger need were on the board. That's what didn't make sense to me. If they say that this was the best quarterback available, best player available, I don't know. I think by the time you're in the 7th round, you can start drafting for need. You need to address the offensive line. Go with the best offensive lineman on the board. That's my opinion, though. But the way I see it, hold on. Do I have this written down? I think I do. Okay. Trent is old. We don't know how much longer he's going to play. Now, we do know he loves money, and he just got extended, I think, for 3 more years. But Ben Barch and Spencer Burford are going to be competing to start at left guard. Then you have Jake Brendel, Matt Hennessy, and Drake Nugent. Jake Brendel, Matt Hennessy, and Drake Nugent. They're going to compete for center. So that'll be who's at our center. Pooney's a stud. We love Pooney. He's going to be at right guard. But Nick Zakel is his backup. Nick Zakel does not impress me. And then you have Colton McKivitz at right tackle, and who knows who is behind him for right tackle. So right now, the only guys I feel confident with on that O-line is Trent, but Trent is old and normally misses quite a few games per season. And then Dominic Pooney, we like him, so I guess you don't need, a right guard. But that leaves left tackle. You need someone there. You need someone developing for when Trent retires and for when Trent's injured. You need someone at left guard, and you need someone at right tackle. That's 3 places on the offensive line and center. And center. So that's 4 places on the offensive line that I think they could have upgraded, and where there were guys that I think they could have taken above Kurtis Rourke. Now, once again, that's not a down on Kurtis Rourke. What he was able to do with a broken, kneecap last year was very impressive. His stats are very impressive. Now, he's not going to knock you out of the water, but if we didn't already have Tanner Mordecai and they drafted this player and they had already shored up the offensive line, I wouldn't be mad about this pick. Like, I don't think this guy's a bad backup quarterback guy. He can probably develop into that. My issue is there's bigger needs. And by the time you're in the 7th round, it's okay to go get a guy you need, in my opinion. Now, right after that, probably hearing all of us, screaming at him, Jed York tweeted out, trying to be funny. No one suggested that I go online yet, but I guess I will. And it was like, this is not funny, dude. You're about to pay Brock Purdy $50 million, and he's going to get hurt. Knock on wood. But they did go get Connor Colby. Now, 7th round guard. He's not super impressive. I don't even know if he'll make the team. He has really short arms, 32-inch arms, very small. But here, let me look at my notes on Connor Colby. Did I tell you guys enough about the Kurtis guy? He had a really impressive season last year. Seems to be a good character guy. A lot of people mocked him to the 49ers in the 7th round. So he went where he was projected to go. He's a good backup quarterback. I just think they have bigger needs. But I'm not trying to shit on him as like the player. Especially when I had like offensive linemen written down. Some other people say I'm not alone in critiquing drafting a quarterback there, but some people are saying, 2nd team All Big Ten conference, set the single school season record with 29 passing touchdowns, like I talked about, ranked 8th amongst FBS with a 69% completion percentage. Now PFF has him at 74 completion percentage, tied for 10th with passing touchdowns, with only 5 interceptions. Like I said, started 12 games, also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Now, once again, started those 12 games last year with that broken ACL. Crazy. I have like a stomach ache, and I was like, I don't want to stream. This guy was like out there running around with a broken kneecap. So I give him props for that. Okay, so with their 10th pick, they selected Connor Colby. He's a guard / center from Iowa. Started started 50 career games for the Hawkeyes, most at right guard, but also started some at left guard and some at right tackle as a sophomore. Now, he absolutely will not be a tackle in the NFL. Really short arms. I don't even know if he has long enough arms or a big enough body to be actually a starting guard. Let's see. What can we see about him? He has elite relative athletic score out of Iowa. Obviously, gonna thrill George Kittle because they went to that same score. This is, if you look up players on the NFL Network, they'll tell you how well they tested at the combine. And if you want to see a lot of green is above average to average. This guy, like I said, body type is below average, but he had a great skill set. So he had a 5.11 40-yard dash, a 1.7 10-yard split, a 4.6 shuttle, and a 7.8 3-cone. That's not very good. Vertical jump wasn't great. It was 28.50. Broad jump was elite at 920. His 6'5", 309 pounds. He benched only 23 reps, which is kind of crazy because we have a lot of guys on our team. It wasn't that safety that's like 119 or 190 pounds or something. Didn't he get 28 reps? Didn't I talk about that earlier? Hand size, 10-inch hands. So he has giant hands, but arm size 32 inches. So really small arm size. Great speed, not great size. Connor Colby out of Iowa. He'll be a backup. He'll be a depth piece. It's good to have a guy when you're looking at depth pieces. It's good to have guys that can be at multiple positions. So I like that he's played or projected to be a guard / center. That means if Spencer Burford goes down, he could fill in there. But if Jake Brendel goes down or Matt Hennessy goes down and he's competing there, he could fill in there. 49ers have usually liked to have their depth pieces be transitional guys on that O-line. I don't think he's a bad guy for being a 7th round pick. I just wish there was, but like I said, I mean, I'm really happy with their first 5 picks. So it's just hard. Like, I wish they had more 2nd and 1st round picks because I wish they could have drafted all the guys to stop the run while also prioritizing the offense. And it just feels like next year it's going to be offense. I don't have the free agents. I know they're signing free agents right now. But I did see on Twitter, I think they signed another free agent. Let me see where that name. Oh, there's a meme about Brock Purdy getting injured with behind this O-line. That's great. Okay, let me see. I get why more people wanted offensive linemen, but I also don't think it was as big of a need as most fans do. Kyle Shanahan himself said he did not think the offensive line was of need when he spoke at the owners' meetings. That's true. I was there in Palm Beach. If Connor Colby can be serviceable, this is a fine O-line draft. Rich Madrid, big film guy, says Barch is more than likely an upgrade over Banks too. If you guys remember, we lost Aaron Banks, but now I think that they're going to have Ben Barch starting there. So right there, they have a plus. They signed a dude in free agency. The O-line is still solid. It's not nearly the problem fans think it is. I disagree, but I guess I'm the fan he's talking about. People are saying that they signed Gray Zabel. Is that who it is? People are saying that they signed offensive guard Drew Moss in free agency. Okay, let's see who this guy is. Drew Moss is the undrafted free agent offensive lineman that they just signed. Oh, when I Google that, an actor comes up, so that's not great. NFL draft, undrafted free agent tracker, 49ers red zone. San Francisco 49ers Sean Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have shifted their focus to signing undrafted free agents. Although these players went unselected in the draft, they still have a path to the NFL by signing with teams. Obviously. Okay. Notably, signing Jacob Robinson as well. Okay, but tell me about this guy. This is how you know this guy isn't very good, is because I'm Googling him and he doesn't even have like a draft profile. Like, I can't even figure out where he's from. Are people in the comments talking? We couldn't tackle or stop the run. We solved the problem, Steve-O says. Yeah, like I said, I really like the first 5 picks. I think all the defensive picks were probably chosen by Robert Saleh. And I just wish that when they went O-line, instead of their first O-line being a speedy wide receiver, that they already have that prototype in Jacob Cowing. I wish they would have gone O-line. That's just my. And I'm not saying anything wrong with the running back or the wide receiver that they chose. I just think they should have gone O-line a little bit earlier. But I hear what you're saying. I'm still trying to find this guy. Okay. Colorado State Athletics. So he's from Colorado. Found out something from him. Give me his draft profile. He's 300 pounds, 6'4". Okay, so similar to the guy that we just got in the 7th round. Senior. Offensive line, no shit, but where on the offensive line? Started all 13 games at guard. We like a guy that starts. Junior year started all 12 games. I don't know why they had different amount of games, but I like that he started both times. Spent 2 seasons, 21 and 22 at Lamar, where he started all 22 games of his career at right tackle. Now, once again, this guy will not be a right tackle in the NFL, but in all 4 seasons that he played, he started every single game. So I love that. Team captain, earned, some sort of honors for Colorado. Standout, 2-time academic. I mean, he seems like a good, this is a good guy. This draft profile is so much, it's like not the NFL network because he wasn't invited to the combine. And so it's just like talking, it's like he has 2 siblings. It's like, okay, well I don't need to know that. Not that, I hope his siblings are well, but it's funny when it's a highly drafted guy, you Google him and everything about him is like, this is his weight, this is what he jumped, this is what he ran. Colorado State is like, these are his parents. He's a very good history major. It's like, okay, well, that's great, but is he going to do anything for the 49ers? Probably not. Okay, right here. Oh, there's an ad. I saw something that said 40-yard dash, but now there's a big ad, so I have to be careful. So slow as hell, 40-yard dash, 5, 40-yard dash, 1.7, 10-yard dash. Now that was higher than the guy that we signed in the 7th round, the Colby Connor guy. Like I said, height 6'3", weight 303 pounds. Bench, how many did he bench? I understand that he benched 225 pounds, but it doesn't say how many. Okay. Well, we have 2 guards, one that we signed in the 7th round with our second to last pick, and one that we just signed signed undrafted. And then I forgot, I didn't even tell you guys, the 49ers did sign wide receiver junior. I'll tell you about him in 1 second. I can't lie and say I've heard of most of these 7th round guys. So with their last pick, the 252nd pick, the 49ers final selection this year was wide receiver Junior Bergen from Montana. He measures at 5'10", 184 pounds, stood out most as a punt returner at Montana, totaling 8 punt returns, 8 punt return touchdowns. That's actually really good. 16.7 average yard punt return. He also had a kickoff return for a touchdown in 2023. Now his athletic profile, remember how I said you want to see green and then maybe some yellow. This guy has very poor and and average. So we don't love that. So he's very poor in the size. He's obviously undersized. Didn't run a super fast 40-yard dash compared to the other guy that we got earlier on. 4.5 is still fast, but not, crazy impressive. Just average. 10-yard split was 1.59. Shuttle 4.22. 3-cone 6.97. Vertical, I mean, everything is just like average. Vertical is 36.5. Broad jump is 1,000. Bench, only. Why is this in the green? The bench, he only got 17 reps on the bench. That's really bad. We had a guy smaller than him that got 28 reps. You can't, you're not going to find a bust in the 7th round. Like if a guy in the 7th round works out, it's a positive. You're not expecting this guy to be crazy impressive or anything. I really enjoyed some of the 49ers earlier picks, even the earlier picks today. I thought the safety that they went and got was going to be good. The speed safety. I wasn't super mad at the Oregon running back, especially knowing Frank Gore and Bobby Turner really liked him. Jordan Watkins was the wide receiver I was talking about earlier. I do like him as a player. I just think it was a little bit of a wasted pick if you expect Jacob Cowing to work out. And I'm thinking that was pick 138. There were still a lot of offensive linemen in the guard, and you can get a good offensive lineman there. So I kind of wish that they went O-line, in that 4th, 5th round, early in the 5th round, late in the 4th round. I wish that they would have gone O-line there. Although I'm not mad at the wide receiver and running back they got. And I did think they needed to add a running back. So I'm really not that mad about the running back pick. I just don't know. Is Jordan Watkins even going to make the team? And because he's going to be competing with Jacob Cowing. And if he does and Jacob Cowing doesn't, it's like, damn, you keep missing on these guys. Like they just drafted Danny Gray not that long ago. He's not even on the team anymore. Now they're already out on Jacob Cowing. They got 2 speedy running backs in the junior guy I was just talking about. And then this guy that they drafted obviously much earlier on, the Jordan Watkins. I'm not mad about any of the guys that they chose necessarily. I just don't know if they prioritized offensive line in the way that I wish that they did. His last name is pronounced Rourke. Which guy are we talking about? I've talked about so many guys. Can you guys tell I'm a little, I feel like I've been like bam, bam, bam on it. Are you talking about the QB? You have to be talking about the QB. So Kurtis Rourke. Rourke? Hopefully I'm saying that right. Thank you. Thank you, Papa J. What did I say earlier? Rourke? It's Rourke. That guy, I don't know. Pronounce it. If he becomes, as good as Brock Purdy was for the 7th round quarterback, then I'll learn how to pronounce his name better. But for right now, I don't know if he's going to beat out Tanner Mordecai. Papa J says like and subscribe. Make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I said that Kurtis Rourke, hopefully that was better, had a finger injury and an ACL injury, so he's not even going to participate. That's what I'm saying. Is it horrible to draft a QB to be your 3rd QB in the 7th round? No, unless you really need to address the offensive line. They could have gone with 2 guards. I know that they got Connor Colby, but why didn't they get 2 guards right there? This guy is not even going to make an impact for at least a year. And that was from Kyle Shanahan's mouth. He was like, yeah, we just got a camp body, a guy that's going to compete to be our 3rd string QB next year. I just don't know if I love the process. The offensive picks, I'm really side-eyeing. The earlier picks that I think were more Robert Saleh picks, I am giving a big stamp of approval, thumbs up. Now, they did eventually sign O-line. Earlier, I was trying to I was trying to grade each of the individual players, and all the players I was giving like anywhere from an A to like a B minus. I really liked the players, but my overall draft grade was a B minus because I loved the first 5 picks and I liked that they really prioritized stopping the run and the defensive trenches. You look at the Eagles, they won that Super Bowl with their defense and with those defensive trenches, but also they do protect Jalen Hurts. That is also a strength of the Eagles. If you look at how well Sam Darnold played last year, why was that? Because he was on a great Vikings team with a stellar offensive line. Offensive line can really make or break you. They're going to pay Brock Purdy probably like $50 million is the newest report is that they've already offered him something with a 5 that they haven't quite got up to $55 million. I don't want to pay a quarterback and then have him immediately get injured. So I'm still high because I like all the individual players. So I feel like I'm still high on this draft. And if most of these guys, they had 11 picks, if 8 of them are starters, if 7 of them are starters, or participate, are in a rotation to participate for the entirety of their rookie contract, we'll look back and say this was, a phenomenal draft. So I'm not trying to crush them. I like the individual players. Player-wise, I would give it a B. Process-wise, I would give it a B minus or a C because, like I said, I love that we prioritized. Steve-O says, I see a top 5 defense. I like that Robert Saleh is revamping the defense. I just am worried about Brock Purdy and that O-line. I think the only things that I would have done a little different, I was really hoping that they were going to take a tackle early on, but John Lynch and Kyle did talk and they said that they had a tackle, in mind, but they weren't going to trade up a bunch of assets and give up picks to go get them. And so they just tried to take the best player on their board when they were picking. 49ers did not trade back at all for any of their picks, and they also didn't trade up at all. So they stood pat and drafted exactly where they were supposed to draft, all 11 picks. Like I said, if 7 or 8 of them work out, we're going to look back and give this draft an A. Right now I'm giving it a B minus C for the process, but I'm giving the players, probably a B minus because I really like a lot of the players. Some of them were reaches compared to where the NFL had them. Miguel says, I'm sorry, Ashley. I would have fired you if you would have been the one drafting them. But I didn't draft them, though. Purdy already being traded with Rourke. I'm not going to pay Brock Purdy. Okay. Well, I didn't say I was going to. Don't fire me. I'm not in charge. I didn't say I was going to pay Brock Purdy. I'm saying that the rumor is that they've already offered him above 50 and that he wants 55. I'm just trying to talk about what their thought process is and what they said in their post-draft press conference. Don't be upset with me. I agree. I wanted them to go O-line. I'm just saying because they didn't go O-line, if I'm being objective about the players, I like them. Ashley getting fired from a job that she doesn't even have. I agree. What the heck? Anyways, I'm tired, so this is going to be a much shorter live. I'm going to be going live tomorrow to give my day after, hopefully more level-headed, less sleepy thoughts, and then I'm going to be going live with Tom the day after that. So you'll have my immediate reaction tomorrow, and then you'll have Tom and I going over it the day after that, and I'll have a full breakdown of everyone they end up getting in free agency because they're going to continue. Right now, they're signing guys in free agency. I think they also got another running back and another guard, as I said. So they'll have a full list of guys. I think six free agents they can sign. So I'll break down all those guys. Sometimes we don't think those guys are important, but then you think about Elijah Mitchell. There's been a lot of undrafted free agent pickups that have ended up really working out for us. So I love that. They drafted for depth, not for the future. Well, some of them they drafted for the future. The quarterback won't even be able to start, or won't not start, but practice in camp, according to Kyle Shanahan. So I think they did a mix of both. On the offensive line, they drafted for depth. With running back, they drafted for depth. Now, I'm a little bit worried about what they do at running back. The two differences that I would have had, I like all their draft picks. I would have been, more aggressive at trading up to get someone on the offensive line. And I probably would have gone running back where they went wide receiver. I thought that they were going to go running back in the 3rd or 4th round. Now, I'm kind of glad they skipped the 3rd round because they've had horrible luck with running back there. But they ended up getting a running back, I think, in the 5th round. And I maybe would have gone 4th just because bigger body guy maybe would have been more appealing to me. If Christian McCaffrey goes down, they don't have like an every down running back right now. Now, the guy that they did do in tandem with Isaac Guerrero, I think that they could make a good tandem if Kyle Shanahan stops being stupid and actually uses a rotation of running backs. We just haven't seen him do that in the past. So I'm not going to bet on him doing something that we've never seen him do before. So, like I said, this is my, still tired, been looking at this all day and all morning and for the past 3 days. My initial reaction is I like the players. I give the players a B minus because they might have reached on some of them. I give the process a C plus, B minus because I love that they targeted the D line and the run defense, which run defense was their biggest weakness. But I hate that they didn't prioritize offensive line. But it's hard to do when you don't have a ton of early picks, because they did end up getting an offensive lineman. I just don't know if Colby's going to, really come in and steal the job away. But who knows? It can happen. I got, thank you, Ashley. Let the trades begin, Steve-O says. Sorry, Ashley, I didn't mean to take you on it. I love you. We're just joking over here. We're just joshing. I'm delirious. I've been looking up guys and reading about guys. You spent all this time before the draft writing down names and trying to come up with everyone. And there's only so much information on everyone. And then once you get in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, you're really just guessing because a lot of these guys, it's like potential backup guys anyways. And so I always feel really confident for like the first 3 rounds. I have a lot of names and a lot of guys that I know of and I want the 49ers to go get. And then after like round 3, I'm just going to be honest. I know like Larry Kruger's on his show and he's like knows about the most obscure players ever. After round 3 for me, when they come out with they drafted this guy, I'm like Googling him and trying to figure out if I think it's a good pick or not. I'm reading other people's articles, trying to make my consensus opinion. I think a lot of people are doing that, but that's the behind the scenes for me. So, like I said, right now, my biggest downfall is Trent is old, Ben Barchin, Spencer Burford. One of those are going to be the left guard. Jake Brendel, Matt Hennessy, Drake Nugent. They're going to compete for center. Both of those sound bad to me. Pooney, we love Pooney, but who's Pooney's backup? Nick Zakel, not impressed. And Colton McKivitz, for some reason they love, even though I don't. So my biggest downside is the offensive line is still scary, and they're, probably going to pay Purdy with that scary offensive line. My biggest positive is, holy shit, I love how much power they gave to Robert Saleh. And if luck has it, the last time the 49ers picked 5 straight defensive players in a row with their draft, they won the first Super Bowl. So, maybe by luck they'll end up doing that. That would be wonderful. Hosting the Super Bowl at Levi's. They're doing so much construction. I'm here in a hotel now, but in Santa Clara, and the stadium has a ton of construction. I guess they're adding in a bunch of Wi-Fi and like projectors and stuff. So I like Kurtis Rourke. I went back to pronouncing his name right. Papa J, my bad. I like him, but I think it was a little bit of a wasted pick if he's not going to contribute year 1 when they had offensive guards available. That's my immediate reaction. I'll be going live tomorrow to give you a little bit more in-depth reaction and tell you about all the undrafted free agents that they end up signing. And then the day after that, I'll be going live with Tom, who has a lot of opinions. I think Tom doesn't like Alfred Collins, and I gave Alfred Collins an A. So it'll be really nice to kind of debate with Tom about why he thinks that, because obviously Tom has tons of knowledge. I'm really excited about stopping the run. I think in today's NFL, like, you have to be able to corral the quarterback. We see so many. If the 49ers want to go to the Super Bowl, like, in their own division, they have Kyler Murray and James Conner. The Seahawks just added to their run game, to their running back room in this draft. Then when you get out of the NFC West, you have to go through Philly. Philly obviously having Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. You got to be able to stop the run there. The two running backs with the Lions. And that's just to get out of the NFC. You have to be able to stop the run. You have to be able to corral the quarterback. I think like 10 years ago, it was more important to be able to sack the quarterback, because you had Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and these like, John Elway, these like really genius guys who could look at a defense and dissect it and knew where they were going to throw the ball before the ball was even snapped. And they wanted to stand in the pocket and make the throw. But that's not how most quarterbacks play nowadays. Obviously, some teams do still play like that. But most quarterbacks, they want to be on the run. They want to throw. They want you to try to sack them and then to be able to run around them. So what the 49ers need, they are already paying Nick Bosa to engage in the pass rush and to go get the quarterback. Now you're going to have all these guys that are making sure he's staying, and then Nick Bosa attacking. So that's just going to help Nick Bosa's sacks. Also, I think, these are the one thing that they did do is they really went after, compared to last year when they had a lot of older guys. Most of these guys are really young, and they have really high traits, like really high 40, good in speed, good in body size. So they can, if developed right, if the 49ers do believe in their coaching staff, a lot of these guys have a much higher they have a high floor, but then a much higher ceiling. So I'm excited about that. Ashley needs a label microphone to be able to use those hands. I know. I used to have like a microphone stand that just stayed, and I would always talk with my hands. And then I was traveling like I am today, and I set my bag down. This bag is where I put my laptop, and I set it on the ground, and I broke the little thing that was holding it. I have to be really careful too, because this little thing, if I like move it too much, it comes unhooked and then no one can hear me. Anyways, if you're my dad, you didn't hear that, because my dad always yells at me for dropping my phone and other stuff too. So anyways, I love you guys so much. I really appreciate everyone. I feel like a lot of the regulars I'm seeing here in the comments, you guys have been here for all of my videos the last 3 days. It's been a lot of fun to be this involved in the draft. Like I said, normally I maybe know like the first rounders. This year I did a lot more research, put a lot more effort into reading mock drafts, reading about players. So I knew a lot of players all the way going into, the fourth round. It was mostly the last two players, that last wide receiver and Colby Connor. I was like, I don't know who these. I was like, I gotta Google these guys, just to be honest. But I felt really proud of myself that I knew most of these guys, and then I had a good opinion on them when I heard about them. So I'll be bringing more information, like who they signed in free agency, tomorrow. And then Tom Jensen, who is a draft expert, all the way into the later rounds, we'll be going over all of the guys with him and how we feel like this roster will shake out. I really appreciate you guys. I see people saying, I'm hoping Garendo steps up. Yeah, we're in big trouble if CMC goes out. I know. And he has an overuse injury. So like, I really wanted them to get a guy that they could use heavily if he were to go down, because it's something that's going to flare up if they put a lot of run on him again. Like, he can either never go up to the level that he was at and hope that it doesn't flare up because he's being used less, or they can pound him and just, be aware that it's probably going to flare up at some point. But who do they have behind him? Patrick Taylor, Isaac Rendo, and now is it Jordan James, right? the Oregon guy that they just liked. Now, he did play well, and like I said, John Lynch said Frank Gore and Bobby Turner, both of those two guys gave him the stamp of approval. They really wanted the 49ers to go out and get him, so I'm not mad at the player necessarily. For a 5th round running back, he's not horrible, but yep, running back from Oregon looks good. I agree, Joe. That's what I was just saying. Anyways, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to tune in for my lives coming from the rest of the week because it's not slowing down. The draft just ended, but we still have a ton of players that we're adding. Oh, I should put it here. Earlier this week, I was talking about George Kittle. He didn't show up to the start of offseason programming, and there were reports from Mike Silver in the Athletic that they were very far apart in contract negotiations. George Kittle is there. I saw him with my 2 eyes. Also, it's been reported by multiple other reporters who were there, but George Kittle is there. He did show up, and supposedly the 2 sides the contract negotiations are going well. So he's not signed yet. I still think he's going to want around 20. The Cardinals Trey McBride, they just gave Trey McBride, their tight end, $19 million per year. So I do think that Kittle's going to want 20. I almost wonder if the 49ers aren't pushing back on him being the highest paid tight end. I think they expect that. They're probably the negotiation is probably about the years because I don't think they have a problem with making George Kittle the highest tight end this year, but it's in 3, does George Kittle want a 4 to 5 year deal? I bet the 49ers want a 2 to 3 year deal. So I think the years are going to be, where does the guaranteed money drop off? I think that's going to be the sticking point for the 2 of them, but it's good to know that Kittle is in the building. He was meeting some of the draft picks that were there today. I didn't get to see any of the draft picks, but I did see them meeting, but I did see George with my own eyes. So he's definitely there. Training. We love that. It's about the years. He wants to retire a Niner. I hope that he retires a Niner. I've said that from the beginning. But obviously you don't want to, be paying top money to someone 5 years from now if they're no longer producing. So we'll see. I hope his wife got life insurance for him. Or are we talking about oh yeah, Brock Purdy. We like that. We love Brock too. RAP Brock with this O-line. I see you guys. These comments are cracking me up. Like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Papa J. I agree. Definitely subscribe. If you're new here and you haven't watched my content, I put out 10 videos today and a bunch of videos the last couple days with the draft. I'll be reviewing it all in more depth tomorrow once I've slept on it. And then Tom Jensen from Sports Illustrated is an absolute expert. So I'm going to have him on the day after tomorrow. And we'll all be recapping not only everyone they drafted, but everyone they signed in free agency. And then we'll be following up on what happens with George Kittle. Because like I said, he's in the building. So hopefully there's a deal with him going on soon. We'll see what's going on with Brock Purdy. Are they going to sign him now that they didn't add to the O-line, or are they going to say, Brock, run for your life for another year because we don't want to give you $50 million if you're going to get injured? Who knows? But I love you guys so much. Thank you and have a great weekend? Yeah, weekend. Bye.